And we're live. Hello and welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here. Today, I am joined by the amazing Tanisha Martin. And Tanisha, we haven't met in real life, but I feel like I've given you probably at least 10 virtual hugs because I just so love your stuff. And I'm way excited to have you traveling all the way from Colorado to come to our Pocatello Energy Healing Conference. And I'm going to read your bio really quick, and then we're going to go ahead and have you tell us what else you want us to know about you, because I am so excited for this opportunity to have you join us. Okay, so you guys, she is a 6th degree Kung Fu master. Do not mess with her. And transformation coach at her company, 7-Star Phoenix, which provides 2 paths to empowerment. One is traditional, and I'm hopefully going to say this correctly,
Shao-lin.
Kung Fu.
Shao-lin.
Kung Fu. Thank you so much for correcting me. I appreciate that. Including self-defense, Tai Chi, Qigong, Qigong, sorry. And then also meditation and more. She's trained for over 25 years and acquired her school as owner and head instructor over a decade ago to facilitating healing and transformation through healing circles, private coaching, and her transformation experience, Awake, Alive, Authentically Fierce. And I love that so much. So tell us what else we want people to know about you. That is so exciting. I love that.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm excited to be here, and the overall thing for everything is healing and transformation. Like what is anything else about if we're not doing our healing and transformation work? So I'm focusing on the inner healing, the programming, the subconscious mind, and that's what I'm going to be bringing to the event. But yeah, thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, that is so awesome. Well, I am so excited. I actually was born in Colorado. I don't know if I told you that or not.
You told me.
But I'm excited. Yeah,
I'm definitely excited to come even all the way to Idaho, because actually it was because of you. We kind of met in an online forum, and I hope you don't mind me saying, but some people, sometimes when the topic of energy healing comes up, some people tend to, some people want to criticize it or say whatever. And you were in there, and you were just like handling it with such grace. You didn't get defensive or attack them back. You were just like, well, actually, here's how this is, and here's why I did it this way, and here's this. And I was like, who is this lady? This lady is amazing. I'm gonna find out who she is. And that's how we got connected, through Facebook, and then how I found out about your conference. And while they're criticizing it, I'm like, this actually looks like the place where I want to be. So anyway, I think you're amazing.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for saying that about being able to handle objections or different things like that. Because those of you who are watching right now, whether you're on the live or the replay, have you ever had people criticize maybe your decision to do energy healing as a professional practitioner or as somebody who goes to an energy healing practitioner? And sometimes people don't really know what to say. They're like, well, I don't even know how to answer that. And so I've been beaten down quite a few times. So I've been able to learn the science of it and the history of it and be able to actually educate people versus taking it personal, because it's not a personal thing. They just don't understand. So it's all good. But well, tell us a little bit more. What's going to be happening in your class at the conference? So when people are looking at the schedule, there's all these different classes to choose from. Who's going to benefit the most? What's going to be happening there?
Okay, so my class is at 4 p.m. Well, actually, you have a class at 4 p.m. too, but for very different audiences. So my class is at 4 p.m. and it's called Break Through the Never-Ending Healing Cycle. And this is why, and this is who it's for. Because all the things that we want to improve or change about ourselves or work on, or habits that we know don't serve us and we want to do something else, when we dig deeper into, the subconscious programming or the limiting beliefs that are behind those. So first of all, handling an external thing like a bad habit of being late all the time or something. Like I would never be late, but some people do, but really I'm just telling on myself. So but yeah, so you can, you think, oh, I'm just going to fix the habit, but it's always something beneath the habit. It's always the subconscious programming or the trauma response or the survival mechanisms that we've learned to operate a certain way. And those happen all the time. And so when we want to change or improve something, hopefully we know to go to those deeper places. If not, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how to go into those deeper places and how to identify that. And then in the end, no matter what, well, actually, let me just say, we can end up in this never-ending cycle of I'm always working on it. I'm working on it. And you probably are. You're probably doing all kinds of stuff to work on it, but never quite getting there with whatever the particular thing is. And that's because whether it's day 1 or day 1001, one thing has to happen, and that has to be actually crossing the threshold into the arrival of the thing. And what we sometimes miss with all of our healing work and transformation work and improvement work is that there's still going to be that moment. It's not just going to magically occur. There's still going to be that moment of crossing over that threshold. And so we're going to talk about that and what that moment takes. And yes, ways to prepare for that moment. And as I mentioned, like day 1, it could happen on day 1. A lot of times it doesn't happen on day 1, and that's fine too, but we need to prepare and get to that moment. And we're going to do something at my talk, at my presentation, that you could use for that moment if you choose to. We're going to do something that will give you the opportunity to actually make that crossover. So if there's something that you've been working on and you're like, I just can't get there, I'm going to give you something that, if you choose to use it, can get you there. So that's what's going to happen at my group. We're going to have transformation happening, huh?
I said, damn, maybe I need to come to your class instead of teaching the other class. Just kidding. That sounds so good, though. I know lots of people who are like, man, I've made so much progress and so much growth in this area, but it seems like there's still just like something, you know what I mean? So this sounds like the place for them to be. They could bring that intention. They could bring that thing with them and come to your class at 4:00. Literally, guys, even if you come to nothing else, that sounds like a really remarkable presentation. I'm super excited.
Thank you. And
so,
and it's awesome. Not to say that there's not always things to improve. Like you're right, but there are moments of arrival. We need to have more moments of arrival. And another thing, if you don't mind me adding, people feel like transformation and healing is like totally changing themselves. And it's not. Transformation is shedding what you're not to reveal who you really are. It's not about changing into something that doesn't align with you or you have to be someone different. I tell you what, just one little tip that you can take away right now. I used to look at somebody that I admired. At the time, it was probably several people, but one that I remember specifically was Angelina Jolie, because Tomb Raider, I'm a martial artist, the fight, the grit. I mean, I totally identify with that. And then when I found out about her humanitarian work and working with the UN and everything as an ambassador, I just thought, okay, this is somebody who exudes confidence and does some amazing stuff. And I kept saying, okay, well, what would she do? How would she stand? How would she present herself? And one day I was like, that's all great. That probably helped me for a long time. But I had to realize, if I'm always wondering how someone else is going to do it, when am I actually going to embody it myself without having to trick myself into it? And that was the day I started saying, what would Tanisha do? What would Master Tanisha do? It was pivotal. And it didn't change my whole life in that moment, but it put me on a different path that started bringing things into now. Things are now. My arrival is now. Healing is now. My confidence is now, not something I'm working for in 5 years.
I love that. You know what I really love about that, honestly, is I feel like one of the things that I've really resonated with, like my what I like go to, what I gravitate to is being your own self advocate, being the hero in your own story. And what you just said is like so crucial for that. It is so important. And actually, I've never even really said, like, what would Tammy do in this moment? Like, I've never done that. That's huge.
It's different.
Y'all, that was amazing right there. Take notes. That was so good. Everybody's
It's
like,
a little thing.
but that was good. That was, I'm going to write that.
Thank you. I hope it's useful for people. It was useful for me. Anything we can do to bring something into the present and stop having it be something that we're working towards, who knows when that will happen. Anything we can do to embody it now is going to actually make that reality happen now much faster. Because now is now. So yeah, thank you.
I'm going to go make myself a wallpaper for my phone that says, what would Tammy do?
Yes, I love it.
That is, I think it's awesome. Like, seriously. And that's the thing is, like, when you come to a conference like this, sometimes just one thing like that you learn can help you like change the trajectory, like you were saying. So it's just so beautiful. I love that. So, and I just love your, like, I love your energy because you can tell that you are, like, in your description, you put the fierce you, and you can tell that you are fiercely very passionate about helping people with this. This is huge.
Thank you.
So, thank you. It takes a lot of grit. You know what I mean? It's like all the stuff that's in your, like, if you go look at her website, you guys, everybody go check out her website, 7-Star Phoenix. There's so much good information in there. What's something that, if there was one thing that they should go look at on your website, where do you want to direct them if they had one thing?
Honestly, I would just, I don't know where everyone is in their process. We have a self-empowered life formula for showing up and kicking ass guide right there on the front page. So I would just go and get that. That's what I would do. That if you're just going to go visit, and let me tell you, I don't know how much time we have, and I'm not going to like get long-winded here, even though I could, but, why I'm so glad, I thank you for saying that I exude this fierceness or this passion for these things, because I do. And I'll tell you a little of the reason why. And that is because my past had depression, anxiety, a lot of shame and fear programmed in. I definitely spent weeks in bed at a time, just hating myself, self-loathing, wishing I didn't exist. And I grew, and Kung Fu helped me a lot. I remember going into classes as a student sometimes, and it was like I could barely get myself out of bed and get there. And I was like bawling through warm-ups. Like I would show up at class and cry through the warm-ups with a bunch of guys in the room, but I tried not to be obnoxious about it. But I thought, I know if I could just get there and work out and like do this, it's going to help me. So for me, that was something that helped pull me out. Then at some point, I found myself in an abusive marriage. It was extremely bizarre. He presented as over 150 different personas, and I quit counting at that point. It's a totally very bizarre story. But but through that, I lost myself in him, so I couldn't manage my own stuff. I was in this marriage. We were struggling. Then I took over the Kung Fu school all while this is happening. It was crazy. Wow. It was a really crazy time. And by crazy time, I just mean a lot of change, but I'm still in this situation. So it was really weird. But something happened. We needed something, and it became more painful to stay the way we were than for me to like step up in a different way. And in 30 days, pretty much using the stuff I teach, except I didn't understand it as well back then as I do now. In literally 30 days, I tripled my income and like woke up. And it wasn't the money, it was what I had to do to step forward without fear, doubt, and worry, and some habits that I had and some perspective shifts I had to have. And then the result of the income was like, whoa, I never tripled my money before. Like I made more than I ever made before in that month. And like, it just kind of like, but the process of, it was a whole thing. And I found out for the first time in my entire life that I matter and that I have actual power in my life. And then with that understanding for the first time, I was able to look at my abusive marriage and say, "Ah, I do not have to continue to sacrifice myself for him." I mean, I was compassionate on him. That's why I was there. I was very strong and compassionate on him and his programming and his issues. Like, you know, that's for a lot of people, that's why they stay, is because, but you know, it's not really him. Yeah, I believe that it wasn't really him, but he was really doing it.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, finding out that I mattered and have actual power in my life,
that's cool,
empowered me to walk away, and I was safe to do so. So I mean, literally 30 days, tripled my income, walked away from my marriage. It was insane. And that's the thing that put me on the path to coaching and to like really stepping up in other ways. And so, but that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I didn't know prior to that how powerful that transformation could be. I didn't know I could do it. I didn't know any of this. And that's what told me. And now I want to tell others. So
awesome. Wow. I just feel like my soul is like, like all of my energy is like clapping for you, because that's super inspiring. Seriously, like people, when they're like feeling like they're in a position where they can't do that, to be able to, you know, do that. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you
for choosing you.
Thank you. Know, we should all always choose ourselves. We should always be number one, honor ourselves. That's a big part of what I do too. So yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Well, if you're feeling inspired to go to Tanisha's class, make sure that you find yourself there. If you are somebody who is in the area and you would like to travel, either or, right, you can go ahead and message me. I'm going to go ahead and put my email up for you here so that you can make sure that you get some free tickets. We do have 8 VIP tickets that are remaining. So if you would like a copy of the audio recordings, we actually have people that will purchase the VIP, since it's still so affordable just to be able to get the audio recordings, you know, to boot. Like there's so many other things too, but there's the VIP night that you get. There's the swag bag. You get, you know, reserved seating towards the front rows. And it's a great deal. So
I'm really looking forward to the VIP night too, because I mean, it sounds like it's just going to be this smaller group together, you know, getting to maybe pre-know each other, and I think there's going to be a drum circle at it. And I just feel very, I'm like, okay, I'm, you know, planning the thing. I'm like, I gotta be there by then. So yeah, I think it's great. So yeah, if you get some VIP tickets, you all grab those.
Yeah, there's only 8 left. We have a very limited amount because we want it to be this intimate thing. And it's going to be great. So I'm super excited. I'm going to go ahead and also put the link up for you guys, just in case you want to check out who else is speaking, what other kind of experiences there are. There definitely is some really fun stuff happening in the vendor area. If I did get a comment here that says, we're interested in participating in the energy healing conferences next year. How do we register? I would recommend going to energyhealingconference.com. There is a place there for you to be able to sign up for our email list, and then you'll get notifications. We don't spam the heck out of your email or anything, but you are notified and let known about all of this really great stuff that we have. So we want to make sure that you're definitely a part of that if that's something that you're interested in. All right. Is there anything else that you'd like to close with today before we jump off?
I just really am looking forward to seeing people at my booth and in my room. And if for some reason you can't make it, just what I said before, you matter and you have real, actual power in your life. Just keep going. You've got this. Show up and kick ass.
That is amazing. All right. I love it. One more time, Tanisha's website is 7starphoenix.com. Go check it out. I am seriously like loving all of your stuff. It's so powerful. So thank you so much. We'll see you at the conference.
All right. See you.
Okay,
Bye,
see you
everyone.
later. Thank you. Bye, everyone.